On Friday, August 22nd, 2025, 23-year-old Iryna Zarutska finished a shift at a pizza shop in Charlotte. At 9:46 that night, she boarded a train and texted her boyfriend to say she would be home soon. 4 minutes later, a stranger sitting behind her attacked her. They had never met. There had been no argument. The man now charged with killing Iryna had a violent conviction and years of contact with the justice system. There were also serious signs of mental illness and a court order for an evaluation. That evaluation was never completed. This is the story of the young woman whose future was taken, and the warnings that failed to protect her. To understand what was lost on that train, we need to begin with Iryna's life. She was born in Kyiv, Ukraine, on May 22, 2002. She studied art and restoration at Synergy College. She loved sculpture, designed unusual clothes, and often gave her artwork to family and friends. Her family described her as kind, creative, and generous. She made things for other people and cared deeply for animals. Long before strangers knew her name, the people around her knew what she gave. Then Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. Iryna and her family sheltered near their apartment while relatives in North Carolina tried to help them escape. In August that year, Iryna reached the United States with her mother, younger sister, and brother. Her father remained in Ukraine. They were safe, but they had to begin again. They needed to learn a new language, find work, and build a home in a country they barely knew. Her father was still an ocean away, and the ordinary life they had known in Kyiv was gone. Iryna worked hard. She babysat, cared for neighbors' pets, and walked their dogs. She also worked at an assisted living facility. Her family later said that more than 100 people connected to that workplace came to pay their respects. She loved animals and hoped to become a veterinary assistant. She took classes to improve her English and worked full-time at Zapetti's Pizzeria, where she became a line cook. Away from work, she was learning to drive with her boyfriend Stas. She had saved enough money to buy her first car and expected to get her license soon. Her uncle said she was planning to drive alone to visit him and his wife. It may sound like an ordinary plan, but after crossing an ocean and rebuilding her life, that first journey would have meant freedom. Iryna was not standing still. She was moving towards something. Friday, August 22nd, began as another working day. That evening, Iryna finished her shift and boarded Charlotte's Lynx blue line, still wearing her work clothes. She sat in front of Decarlos Brown Jr. According to investigators, they did not know each other. There was no dispute and no warning before the attack. This documentary will not show the surveillance footage. Iryna's family asked people not to circulate the video of her death. They wanted her to be remembered for the way she lived. That request matters. The video later spread across social media, where a real person's death became a clip to replay, argue over, and use in political fights. Iryna's life was larger than those few seconds. The footage also caused anger towards the other passengers. Some people claimed that nobody tried to help, but that is not the full record. The attack happened at about 9:50. By 9:52, at least one passenger could be seen running towards Iryna, and several people called 911. Help was not immediate, and it is fair to ask why. But it is not fair to say that everybody simply did nothing. This was a sudden knife attack, and people were trying to understand what had happened and whether they were also in danger. Brown left the train at the next stop. Police found him on the platform and arrested him. Iryna died inside the carriage. When she did not arrive home, her family checked the location of her phone. It was still showing at a train station, so they went looking for her. The young woman who said she would be home soon was never coming home. To understand how Brown reached that train, we have to look at his past. Not to make him the center of Iryna's story, but because the warning signs matter. News reports often describe a long list of arrests. An arrest is not a conviction, and some charges were dismissed. But one part of his record was both proven and serious. In 2014, Brown was accused of robbing a man with a handgun. He later pleaded guilty to robbery with a dangerous weapon, spent more than 5 years in state prison, and was released in 2020. His mother, Michelle DeWitt, said his behavior became worse after prison. She described aggression at home, and said he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, given medicine, and later stopped taking it. His family tried to get help. His mother said one facility had no space. She later had him committed, but he returned to the family after 14 days in a hospital. When living together became impossible, relatives took him to a men's shelter. His mother later saw him living on the streets and using public transport. The crisis had not ended. It had simply moved out of the family home. Most people with schizophrenia are not violent, and a diagnosis alone does not predict murder. The concern was the whole picture: a violent conviction, reported aggression, worsening delusions, no medicine, unstable housing, and repeated contact with police and the courts. Different people saw different pieces. Nobody brought those pieces together. On January 19, 2025, police met Brown outside Novant Health Presbyterian Medical Center. He told officers that a man-made substance inside his body controlled when he ate, walked, and spoke. The officers advised him to seek medical care. He had not said that he planned to harm himself or anybody else. But while the officers were still there, he called 911 again because he wanted different officers to investigate the substance. Brown was arrested for misusing the 911 system. It was a low-level, non-violent charge that could carry no more than 4 months in jail. Magistrate Teresa Stokes released him on a written promise to return to court. After Iryna was killed, Stokes faced public anger and calls for her removal. But it is important to describe her decision honestly. The charge in front of her was misuse of 911, not armed robbery or murder. At the time, a written promise was common for a low-level charge, and Brown did return to court. That promise was designed to make him come back for his hearing. It was not a plan for treatment, support, or supervision. The public record does not show that Stokes knew he would become violent. Blaming her, as if she knowingly released a future killer, goes beyond the evidence. The deeper problem is what the case became. Police had met a man who appeared disconnected from reality, yet the system treated the moment mainly as misuse of a phone line. His crisis became a small criminal case, and then it moved slowly through court. Brown's public defender later questioned whether he could understand the case or help with his defense. The lawyer asked for a mental health evaluation. On July 28, 2025, Judge Roy Wiggins ordered Brown to report to a community forensic evaluator within 7 days. That was 25 days before Iryna was killed. The judge did not refuse an evaluation. He ordered one. But court records show that it was never completed, and it is unclear whether Brown attended. The order was canceled after Iryna's death. This evaluation was meant to test whether Brown could take part in his court case. It was not a full prediction of future danger, and nobody can say for certain that completing it would have saved Iryna, but it was a real chance to put him in front of a trained professional, while his mental condition was already in doubt. That chance was lost, because the order on paper never became a completed assessment. The available records do not show who was meant to check whether Brown attended. They also do not say what should have happened when the evaluation remained unfinished. This is where the failure becomes larger than one magistrate or one judge. Brown's family saw him getting worse. Police saw his delusions. A lawyer questioned his mental ability. A judge signed an order. Yet no part of the system made sure that the next step happened. While that process drifted, Iryna kept working, studying, and saving for her first car. She had no idea that an unfinished court order would become part of the story of her final journey home. There was another question around Iryna that night. What protection did the train actually provide? Passengers can enter the Lynx Blue Line without passing through a barrier. Brown reportedly did not have a valid ticket, and there was no security officer inside Iryna's carriage during the attack. The cameras worked, but cameras record violence. They do not stop it. After the killing, North Carolina's state auditor examined Charlotte area transit system security contracts. A preliminary report said armed security had fallen by at least 40% from an earlier contract. Over the same period, the contract's value had risen from $5.9 million in 2022 to $18.4 million in 2025. CAT said its total security workforce had grown, and that placing an armed officer in every carriage was not realistic. No one can know whether a guard or ticket check would have changed that night. Still, Iryna's family had every right to ask what protection passengers were receiving. CATS later increased patrols, fare checks, and security spending. North Carolina responded by passing House Bill 307, known as Iryna's Law. Governor Josh Stein signed it on October 3, 2025. The law ended release on a simple written promise. It also made release harder for some people charged with violent crimes or with serious criminal histories. The law created a process for defendants showing signs of mental illness as well. Supporters said the changes were overdue. Critics warned that keeping more people in jail would not solve the shortage of treatment beds and mental health care. Both concerns belong in this story. A tougher release law may keep some dangerous people in custody, but it cannot create a treatment bed or make an unfinished evaluation complete itself. Protection and mental health care have to work together. Brown faces a North Carolina charge of first-degree murder and a federal charge connected to violence on a mass transport system resulting in death. These are charges, not convictions, and he is legally presumed innocent unless the case is proved in court. In June 2026, a federal judge found that Brown was not mentally able to stand trial at that time. That does not mean he was found innocent. It means the court believes he cannot currently understand the case or properly help his lawyers. The judge ordered up to 4 months of treatment at a federal medical facility. Brown remains in custody. The state murder case is paused while the federal case comes first. If treatment restores his ability to take part in the case, the federal proceedings can continue. For Iryna's family, justice remains unfinished. Iryna Zarutska should not be remembered only as the woman in a train video. She was the artist who made clothes that looked like nobody else's. She was the young woman trusted with neighbors' pets, working long shifts, learning English, and saving for a car. She was a daughter, a sister, a partner, and the person her uncle called the glue of the family. At Zapetti's Pizzeria, her colleagues kept a candle burning for her. That candle tells us more about Iryna than the footage of her death ever could. It reminds us that she had a place in other people's daily lives. She was expected at work, at home, and on the visit she was still planning to make. The man charged with killing her is responsible for his own alleged actions. But this case also exposed a system that could see separate warning signs without turning them into one clear response. No judge could have predicted Iryna's name. But a justice system should not need to know the name of the next victim before it takes a serious crisis seriously. If a law is going to carry Iryna's name, its success should not be measured by speeches. It should be measured by whether the next family asking for help is heard and the next evaluation is completed. It should be measured by whether the next person who says, "I will be home soon," actually gets there. Iryna crossed an ocean to build an ordinary life. Remembering her properly means valuing that life, not only the terrible way it ended. If you share this story, share it for Iryna. Share her name, her art, and the future she was building. Do not share the footage of her death.